All right, founders, let's talk about one of the toughest, most personal decisions you'll ever have to make. That moment, maybe it's 3 a.m. and you're staring at the ceiling wondering, should I keep pushing or is it time to stop? It's a lonely place to be. But today we're going to walk through it together and bring some real clarity to that question.
So let's start with the question that gets right to the heart of it. And I want you to be really honest with yourself here. All that hard work, the sweat, the sleepless nights, is it actually building on itself? Compounding into real value? Or are you just kicking the can down the road, prolonging an ending that's already written? Getting real about that answer? Well, that changes everything.
I'm Aadesh Navade, and as a business guide, I've sat with so many founders right where you are now. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll talk about this classic founder's crossroads. Then, we'll look at the clear red flags that say stop and the green lights that say keep going. And finally, I'm going to give you a practical toolkit so you can make this call with confidence.
Okay, let's dive in. This moment, this crossroads, every single founder ends up here eventually. I know it feels huge, right? Like it's a personal test of your vision, a pass or fail exam for your whole identity. But I really want you to reframe that. This is not about success versus failure. It's about strategy.
You know, let's just tackle the word that makes every entrepreneur shudder: quitting. We've been taught it's the worst thing you can do, but we're not talking about just giving up. We are talking about strategic quitting. Think of it as a calculated business decision. It's recognizing that your energy, your time, and your focus are your most valuable assets and deciding to redeploy them to a project that has a real chance to scale. It's smart, not weak.
So how do you actually know? How can you tell if you're in a temporary storm or sailing straight into a dead end? You have to learn to spot the red flags. And these aren't small bumps in the road. They are bright, flashing signs that something is fundamentally wrong with the plan.
Once you step back and look objectively, the signs are usually pretty clear. First, the market. Is anyone actually buying, using, and loving what you've built? If you're only hearing crickets or negative feedback, the market's talking to you. Second, are there core flaws in the tech or the business model that you just can't fix? Third, and this is a big one, look at your founding team. If you're fighting over core values, not just day-to-day tactics, that's a serious problem. Fourth, check in with yourself. Is the work just draining the life out of you with no spark of joy or progress? And finally, the numbers don't lie. If you're out of runway with no clear path to more capital, hope is not a strategy.
And look, these red flags are so critical because they're not just theories. Around 90% of startups fail, and it's not because of bad luck. It's because of these exact issues: no market fit, team blowups, running out of cash. Seeing these signs doesn't make you a failure. It makes you a sharp strategist who knows how to avoid becoming a statistic. If you're nodding your head right now, seeing these signs in your own venture, please hear me. This isn't about giving up. It's about getting smart with your energy. But what if the picture is a bit murkier? What if you're struggling, but you aren't seeing these giant glaring red flags? Well, that means we need to talk about the other path.
Okay, so we've walked down that red flag road. Now let's turn and look at the other path: persistence. And believe me, this road is also incredibly tough. But the crucial difference is this one actually leads somewhere exciting.
This might be the most important distinction you can make as a founder, knowing the difference between the dip and a dead end. A dead end is what we just talked about. You pour in effort and nothing comes back. It's draining. But the dip is totally different. It's that brutal, frustrating period of struggle right before a huge breakthrough. The work is hard, progress feels slow, but it's building. Your key metrics are actually improving, even if it's just a tiny bit. That's a productive struggle. So how do you know you're in a dip? You look for the green lights. Are your key metrics like user retention slowly but surely ticking upwards? Do you see a clear, actionable path forward, not just wishful thinking, but specific things you can do? And this is my favorite. Do you have a small but mighty group of users who are true fans, people who would be heartbroken if you disappeared tomorrow? That is pure gold. And finally, how do you feel? Deep down, does this challenge still energize you more than it drains you?
Pushing through the dip is what separates so many of the greats from the rest. Just look at Airbnb. Those founders were famously rejected by just about everyone. They were literally selling custom cereal boxes called Obama O's to keep the lights on. It was desperate, but they kept going. Why? Because they saw the green lights. They had these small signals of validation from their hosts, and they had a tiny group of early users who absolutely adored the experience. They knew they were in a deep, painful dip, but they also knew it wasn't a dead end.
Okay, so now we have the red flags for quitting and the green lights for persisting. But how do you apply all this to your business without letting your emotions and all that sunk cost get in the way? You need a system, a toolkit. So let's build one for you right now.
Here is a simple 3-step framework you can use again and again. First, every 90 days, schedule a quarterly audit. No excuses. Objectively review your traction, your team's well-being, and your own, and your financial runway. Compare it to the goals you set. Second, if you're stalling, seriously consider a strategic pivot. Can your core technology or insight solve a nearby problem? And third, if the data and your gut tell you it's over, plan a clean exit. Make the decision and execute it within 6 months. This preserves your reputation and your momentum for whatever you do next.
And please remember, how you end one thing is how you begin the next. A clean, strategic exit isn't a failure. It's graduation. You're turning all the lessons and relationships from this venture into fuel for your next and much wiser one. This kind of integrity is exactly how you build a sustainable, ethical, and successful career as an entrepreneur.
We've covered a lot of ground here, moving from that messy, emotional space to one of clear-eyed strategy. So I want to leave you with one final, very practical question. Forget about the huge quit or persist decision for just a minute. What is the one small action you can take this week to start objectively auditing which path you're really on?
And hey, if that first step feels a little intimidating or you just want a neutral, outside perspective, that's exactly what I'm here for. My job is to help founders like you run these audits and find that clarity. You can call me Aadesh Navade at the number on the screen or find me on LinkedIn. And be sure to follow my YouTube channel for more guides like this one. Thank you for your time today. I truly wish you clarity and success no matter which path you choose.